exercise number 1 is going to be a glute bridge. So we're going to be using this setup here. I'm going to be using a bench. You can do this from the floor. But what we do is we come into position, sit ourselves in front of a bench, put our arms across it just to make sure we've got the back in the right place. Basically, we want the bottom of the shoulder blades into the bench and also the head going onto the bench as well, so it's not hanging off, putting any extra unnecessary stress on the neck. So what we do is we come up and we come into this position here. Now the goal for this is to get the glutes nice and squeezed. So we want to feel those squeeze. We also just want to be managing how tight it feels in the hamstring. So we want to be trying to calm those down as best we can, but keeping the glute squeezed and holding there. Once we can get the glutes active, what we can then start to do is we can then start to build the training into single leg. Now, by that what I mean is when most people go into single leg, they find it difficult to contract their glutes. So we start in this position so we can get the glutes engaged, because it's much easier when we get both of them engaged rather than just one at a time. So what we need to be able to do, or the goal of this exercise, is to be able to hold the glutes strong, to be able to keep them activated and hold the position. Because what we then do when we move into sort of the second part of this exercise, which is then moving into the single leg element of it. So what we need to be able to do is feel the glutes being active. So what that essentially looks like is we come into the same position, but this time feet and knees are going to go together. So we come up into the same position, like we've been doing with the double leg bridge, we squeeze the glutes. So we get them squeezed, we bring the knees together, and then we just lift the leg up. But what we want to be able to feel is the leg that's down, I want to be able to feel that glute nice and squeezed. What then I do is I bring my foot down and I swap over. And again, I want to be able to feel my glute squeezed here. If I can start to do that, and I can start to feel left glute and right glute working independently of each other, we're kind of then ready to move on to the next level. But how we would put this together would be double leg bridge, feeling the squeeze, or getting them active, feeling the squeeze, build it up to say a 30-second hold, and then we can start thinking about going into say a 10 or a 15-second hold on single leg. The other key thing with this is keeping the hip up. So tummy goes tight, and then we keep the hip up to squeeze. What we don't want is a pinch in the back. We want to try and avoid the pinch in the back. If we get a pinch in the back, just drop down out of there, because all that's happening is the pelvis is starting to tilt. So what we want to be able to do is double leg bridge up to 30 seconds into a single leg bridge, which we then go into at say 10 or 15 seconds, but all the time keeping the hips up in the air without a pinch in the lower back.